Hi, New Horizon. I'm Roger Ross. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, my wife Leanne and I had the privilege of a lifetime to start a new church in Champaign, Illinois. With the backing of the United Methodist Church and the prayers of many, many people, we shared with anyone who would listen a dream that God had placed deep in our hearts to start a church for people who don't go to church. Not everybody caught that dream to begin with, but then there were a few, and then dozens, and then hundreds. People who had surrendered their lives to Jesus and enfolded themselves in small groups, who devoted themselves to prayer and dug into the scriptures, and then dared to love people who were far from God, people who had given up on the church. And whenever a church does that, it's going to grow. It wasn't long before we needed to find land and build a building, but that caused a problem because we were not just a new church, we were a young church. Our average age was 28. So we didn't have deep pockets, but we did have deep love. And love is always measured by sacrifice. So those who were there gave everything they possibly could, brought it to the altar, so that we could continue to see lives changed and transformed by the love of Jesus. But it wasn't enough to be able to build the building you're in right now. So we went to the bank for the loan. They said, nope, can't do that. You're a bad risk. So we actually had people within the congregation, several, who stood up and said, look, I'll put my home up as collateral. I'll put my financial wherewithal up as collateral, which meant, of course, if we had defaulted, they would have lost everything. That's the level of love they had for what was going on, for the dream, for the people's lives that were being changed, and for the future, because they knew they weren't always going to be there, but people would come after them, and you represent that future. You are the ones over the course of the last several years who have been sacrificing and proving your love through your sacrifices to get you to this point. I'm so grateful for Mark Jordan, your pastor, and for the staff that you've had over the years, and for the church leaders that have helped you to stay focused, to be able to get to this day so that you can say you are debt-free. How about that? Doesn't that sound great? Let's say it together. Debt-free. Oh, I love that. What joy. You are no longer shackled by the debt that you've been carrying for the last 25 years. You can now lean into the future that God has for you, a future of hope, a future that has all kinds of promise, a future of transformation. I know that God is with you. I know that God loves you, and I love you too. I'm so happy for you. Have a grand celebration.